feels perfect. Other days it just ain't working. The good, the bad, the right, the wrong, everything in between. It's crazy, amazing. We can turn our heart with the words we say. Mountains crumble with every syllable. Hope can live or die. So speak life to the dead and darkest night. Speak life, when the sun won't shine and you don't know why. Look into the eyes of the broken hearted. Watch them come alive as soon as you speak hope. You speak love, you speak life. You speak life. Some days things get twisted. Other days things just fall apart. We do, we don't, we will, we won't. It's like we're drowning in the deep. It's crazy, just imagine words from my lips, from the eyes of compassion. Mountains crumble with every syllable. Hope can live or die. So speak life to the dead and darkest night. Speak life, when the sun won't shine, you don't know why. Look into the eyes of the broken heart and watch it come alive as soon as you speak hope. You speak love, you speak life. You speak life. Lift your head a little higher. Spread the love like fire. Hope will fall like rain. You speak love with the words you say. Raise your head a little higher. Use your words to inspire. Joy will fall like rain. You speak life with the words you say. Lift your head a little higher. Spread the love like fire. Hope will fall like rain. You speak life with the words you say. Speak life to the dead and darkest night. Speak life, when the sun won't shine, you don't know why. Look into the eyes of the broken heart and watch them come alive as soon as you speak life. You speak love, you speak life. Some days life feels perfect.
All righty, thank you so much. Good morning. How are you this morning?
Great, you?
I'm doing great as well. And how are you this morning? Grateful to have you here. Welcome to Unity of Tucson. We are a spiritual community. We are celebrating love. I know you're turning your pages like, I gotta get there. It's okay. Let me start off, of course, with letting you know the vision that we hold here at Unity of Tucson. It is this: we envision a place of peace, beauty, and power where spiritual principles are taught and practiced within an ever-growing and dynamic congregation. And as always, here are some magnificent faces of the people in our congregation. As they come up on your screen, just honor the love that exists within this spiritual family. My eyes are wide and open. My eyes can see. My mind is filled with knowing. My mind believes. I am awake. I am awake. Once you know where your freedom lies, you can't go back and close your eyes. The truth that cannot be denied. You are the light, you are the light, you are the light. You are the light, you are the light, you are the light. My heart is clear and growing. My heart can see. My soul is full of knowing. My soul believes. I am awake. I am awake. Once you know where your freedom lies, you can't go back and close your eyes. The truth that cannot be denied. You are the light, you are the light, you are the light. You are the light, you are the light, you are the light. your freedom lies. You can't go back and close your eyes. The truth, it cannot be denied. You are the light, you are the light, you are the light. You are the light, you are the light, you are the light. You are the light, you are the light, you are the light. You are the light, you are the light, you are the light. Ha ha! Indeed, you are the light and the love and the life of this infinite divine power and presence that is all that exists. That's the only thing going on. That's what I keep saying every week. How much are we living in that truth? That's going to be part of what I talk about today. Once again, welcome to a beautiful Sunday morning. Welcome to the second Sunday of 2021. I'm going to rest easy in the notion that we are a spiritual family living in a spiritual community, teaching practical tools for a better life. That's what we are here to do. Once again, the 2021 theme is emerge. And I think we are emerging in magnificent ways, each and every one of us. It is my belief that we can precipitate our own spiritual evolution. And what that means is that we can evolve our own mind, our own heart, and our own conscious connection to spirit and as spirit so that we are living more extraordinary lives in every moment. That as we evolve as consciousness, the construct and experience of our life becomes even better and even better and even better. And you know what I love about that is that there is consistently magnificent room to grow because you can never outgrow the infinite. And so there's an infinite way of being more magnificent in every moment. Let's read together the words of our mission statement as they come up on your screen. They are these. You know, my theater training would suggest that there is not a WH at the beginning of that word. So I'm going to try that again. Within the principles of unity, we are a ministry of love, inspiration, learning, wholeness, acceptance, and joy that empowers all people to embrace their divine nature. And the truth is, your nature is divine. For if there is only one power, if there is only one presence, if there is only one God, source, energy, if there is only that, then we are part of the infinite wholeness. We are part of that, for there can be nothing else. And when we accept this, and one of the ways that we can accept this is through the utilization of the principles. And there are three tenets that I have adopted into my expression and experience of ministry that have helped me live this truth every day. And I invite you to acknowledge them for yourself. They are these: love only, forgive everything, remember who you are. And in remembering who we are, I know an infinite truth about you, and it is that you are love, you are life, you are light, you are magnificent. Absolutely magnificent. So let us choose today to awaken to our magnificence. I'm going to invite you to utilize the chat function on the video wherever you're watching. Reach out to your friends, your family, your spiritual friends, your spiritual family, your spiritual community, and let everyone who is watching with you know that you recognize their presence, their energetic presence right here and right now. Let them know their magnificence, and do so in your own beautiful, unique way. And of course, I will honor the people that are here making this virtual service a reality and say, I see you, I'm grateful for you here. Deeply grateful for your presence, not just here today, but in life and as life. And I know that each and every one of you is magnificent, absolutely magnificent. As those messages proliferate, we'll go ahead and take some time for centering, for contemplation, for quieting. Just take this opportunity to let yourself feel fully present as the presence, wherever you are, right where you are. If you'd like to close your eyes or let them fall to a soft, unfocused gaze, it helps me to turn that attention to the inner life. So I choose to do that. Deepening the focused awareness to become inclusive of the breath. Without controlling it, just becoming aware and observing the magnificent flow of every inhale and every exhale. Relaxing any unnecessary tension you may be feeling physically, just letting it melt away. There is an ease and a grace which I adopt in this moment. And I invite each and every one of us to adopt that same ease, that same grace, fully aware that right here, right now, in this very moment, all is well. I will read this month's affirmation and invite you to simply take it into your heart. It is this: I am rooted in, flowing, and growing in a life of purpose. I am rooted in, flowing, and growing in a life of purpose. And as I read this one more time, allow yourself to take it in as an embodiment, and we'll sit for just a few moments in silence and contemplation. I am rooted in, flowing, and growing in a life of purpose.
Blow
Thank you so much. So in a little surprise, nobody knew we were having a guest singer today, but that is Jody Darling. I'm going to do a more proper introduction in just a moment, but thank you so much for sharing your magnificent gift. Deeply grateful to you. I'm going to invite Karen Ives to the stage to help me with our ritual, Lighting the Flames of Faith. We do this each week in honor of all the faith traditions, the religions of the world, with this understanding that each and every one of them is rooted in a golden thread of love. And that is the connective tissue of all creation, really. And so all expression of that is magnificent. This month, because it is a month where our theme is purpose, I'm looking at the purpose statements within each of these traditions. And so as we light each candle, that is how we will choose to understand this month. So we light a candle for the Tao, which teaches that the purpose of life is inner harmony, peace, and longevity. This is achieved by living in accordance with the Tao. We light a candle for the shamanic traditions, which teaches that through a close relationship with the natural world, one gains guidance, support, and wisdom to live their best life. We light a candle for Hinduism, which teaches that we are able to escape bondage, ignorance, and a state of illusion through multiple experiences of life, and each life leads us closer to enlightenment. We light a candle for Judaism, which teaches the highest calling is to obey the commandments of God and to live ethically according to law. We light a candle for all forms of Buddhism, which teaches the purpose of life is to avoid suffering and gain enlightenment. We light a candle for all forms of Christianity, which teaches salvation from sin through faith in Christ, through sacraments, and through good works. We light a candle for all forms of Islam, which teaches that through submission to the divine will of love, which is God, one will gain paradise. We light a candle for the universalistic religion of Baha'i, which teaches that the soul is eternal and essentially good, and that the purpose of life is to develop spiritually and to draw closer to God. We light a candle for all forms of New Thought, which teaches the divinity of all creation and the supremacy of thought over matter. And through a law of cause and effect, one can recreate the circumstances of their life. We light a candle for all those who are as yet unaware of the power and the presence of Spirit in their lives, and for the space that we are holding for them, as well as for all faith traditions unnamed in this ceremony. And this final candle we light, the healing candle, is a candle which represents the healing of any circumstance, which is the revelation of the God essence at the core of all creation. For that is the true meaning and nature of healing, that when that God essence is revealed, we are healed. And so this is your candle for whatever is in your mind and in your heart that requires the light. Thank you. The candle here on your left is the peace candle, which we keep consistently illuminated, the understanding that it represents the consistent illumination of peace in our hearts. And as we allow that peace at the core of each and every one of us to proliferate in our personal experiences, that resonates outward, and we create a peaceful world for all. And so let's honor this candle by reading together the prayer for world peace. Divine love indwells each person and radiates from one to another. Harmony is established, and peace begins to reign in the world. Thank you. So we do indeed have a guest singer today. Always grateful to have guests join us. Our guest today, when I was talking to her before the service, I said, I don't want to introduce you in the way I will talk about how you are connected to what has happened here recently. But I'm not going to talk about that yet. What I want to do is honor the fact that you are a light of love. I recognize that in you. And you were telling me a little bit about your history. You're from Tucson, but lived in New York for 10 years. Did a number of national tours as well. Magnolia in Showboat is your claim, right? Your big claim, right? I don't have that kind of claim, even though I was an actor for a very long time. I certainly didn't play Magnolia. But I'm deeply grateful that you're sharing your gifts here with us today. The one thing that I was going to say is that you will know her husband because he was recently with us, and that's Chach Snook. But here, gracing us with her magnificent gift is Jody Darling.
Mother cannot guide you. Now you're on your own. Only me beside you. Still you're not alone. No one is alone. Truly, no one is alone. Sometimes people leave you halfway through the wood. Others may deceive you. You decide what's good. You decide alone. But no one is alone. Believe me, no one is alone. People make mistakes, fathers, mothers, people make mistakes, thinking they're alone. Honor their mistakes, everybody makes one another's terrible mistakes. Witches can be right, giants can be good. You decide what's right, you decide what's good. Just remember, someone is on your side, someone else is not. While we're seeing our side, maybe we forgot we are not alone. Be careful, no one is alone. Hard to see the light now, just don't let it go. Things will turn out right now. We can make it so. Someone is on your side. No one is alone.
Jody Darling, thank you. Singing one of my favorite songs. Of course, I always prepare thoughts around what I want to talk about, and then something happens in the flow of the day. And for some reason, it never really resonated with me until you just sang it, the lyrics right at the end of the song. It's hard to see the light now. Hard to see the light now. Still you're not alone? Just don't let it go. It's hard to see the light now. Just don't let it go. Things will be all right now. I think this week especially, that's a very good message for us this week that has unfolded in very unexpected ways. So I just wanted to acknowledge, that irrespective of whether or not you think it's hard to see the light or you're feeling challenged by the experiences of the week, the light is there. The light is there. Just don't let it go. I live in a space, in a place of faith that all is unfolding for our highest good, irrespective of what the circumstances look like. And that can be hard because people say, well, what about this? You can always try and find the exceptions to that by saying, well, this does not seem to be in alignment with the idea that you live in faith, that the circumstances are always in forward motion and evolution towards the good. And the thing is, I think that they always are, and that is how I choose to live always. That's how I choose to live always. So irrespective of what's happened this week, I know that we are on the path of magnificent unfoldment, of love, of light, of life. There is a part of me that is still, I will admit, that is still living in a place of reaction to the events of the week. I mean, it's hard not to live in reaction to the events of the week, right? That we have this experience here in this country that feels off-settling. It's like we feel unsettled. What are we going to do? How do we move forward? What does this mean? Is everything, things feel very off. But my work and the work of each and every one of us who holds to a spiritual practice, this spiritual community, this spiritual family, I believe that our work is to move from reaction and allow ourselves to step into proaction, with the idea that there is that on the other side that we can engage right in this moment from a heart filled with love. I think that what happened this week is the result of a growing dissatisfaction with life experiences. And I'm not talking about being on one side of a political equation or another. It doesn't matter to me. I think that there has been a tensing build-up of something. And here's what I think it is. I think ultimately at the end of the day that what that thing is that boiled over this week is the necessity for change. And that is the truth of evolution. Evolution simply means change. If we are saying that we stand for spiritual evolution, if I say that I stand for spiritual evolution, then boy, howdy, I better expect change in my life when I have placed my faith and my focus on that. As I've been working my mind through this, this week, what I keep coming back to is that I am rooted in and as the cause to every effect that I experience. We, each and every one of us, are rooted as the cause to every effect we experience. I hold firm in my conviction that divine truth reveals itself right here and right now. That's what I wrote on Wednesday on Facebook. Right here, right now, I hold firm in my resolve, in my truth, that divine truth is revealing itself through these experiences, and that there is that on the other side of the challenge, of the crisis, of the thing that doesn't feel so good. There is that which, if we hold to the light now, all is well. I had a response to that post on Facebook from a friend in New York City who said, boy, oh boy, it's revealing itself in a hard way, isn't it? To which I replied, yes, the caterpillar in the process of revealing its butterfly nature experiences discomfort and some level of pain. We're simply finding that place within each and every one of us that is breaking through the chrysalis to spread our magnificent wings of love. And that's what is meant by emergence. We are emerging in 2021. I didn't think it was going to manifest in quite this way. I don't think any of us expected that. But I choose to believe, this is the other part of what I wrote, I choose to believe that a collective veil has been lifted even more today. The veil of fear has been lifted, and what is left is love. If that's the choice we make in terms of how we proceed. Is it a necessity? Here's the question that comes up for me. Is it a necessity that pain be part of the experience of change? Is it a necessity? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Suffering is not a requirement for change. I want to say that loud and clear for everyone to hear. Suffering is not a requirement for change. But I'll tell you what, if the circumstances show up as circumstances through which we suffer, learn from them so that we put those into the past, move forward, and let go of suffering once and for all. I think that the circumstances that we experience, being perfect reflections of our mind, unfold in crisis when we are resistant to our perfect evolution. I'm going to say that again. It's very important. I believe that the circumstances, which are perfect reflections of our mind being the use of infinite consciousness, when those circumstances, being perfect reflections of our mind, unfold in crisis, it is because we are resistant to our evolution. And we're saying, no, I'm very comfortable in this little box, and I don't want to change. What happens is we get that little nudge, a divine nudge, which to me means never underestimate divine guidance emerging. We all have that little nudge, right? If we are resistant to the nudge, well, then what may show up is an experience of crisis. I feel like there has been a steady increase over the year, especially in light of the pandemic. There has been a steady increase of tension. So we've been living in this buildup, right? It's been manifesting itself in many ways. And I think this past year for all of us, we have been on this roller coaster, right? Some days do feel easier than others. I'm grateful for that. Some days do feel easier than others. But I believe that part of what's happening is that we have felt a great sense of disconnection because of the circumstances under which we are experiencing life right now, which is essentially being told we have to isolate. Well, of course we feel disconnection if we are living in a sense of isolation, and yet, here's the truth. No one is alone. Truly, no one is alone. There is that within each and every one of us that provides the comfort we seek. We can never be alone when we remember who we are, which is this infinite divine power and presence called God, which is this infinite flow of love. We can never be alone within that construct, within that concept. In John 14, Chapter 14, verse 1, Jesus says, "Do not let your hearts be troubled. You believe in God, believe also in me. Do not let your hearts be troubled. You believe in God, believe also in me." Now, the me in that passage is a reflection of his identity and his willingness to identify as the infinite Christ consciousness, not himself as the man, but him in the greater sense of his self-knowingness, remembering who he is. Believe also in me. What he is asking each and every one of us to do within that is to remember who we are, to know that we are that infinite Christ consciousness, that is the construct that he was here to teach. It is a reflection of an infinite truth that as we deepen our faith and find comfort within remembering who we are, we experience stability. Do not let your hearts be troubled. That's really the big message today. Do not let your hearts be troubled by anything in the world of circumstance, for that is all form. And the minute we change our mind, moving to that place of faith that God is all there is, and that is who and what I am, that is who and what you are, the minute we accept this divine identity, then that experience of suffering dissipates. No one is alone. That is part of the value of this thing called spiritual practice. Because you know what? We all have to practice. We all have to practice this. I believe that it was innate in the man Jesus. I believe that it was innate in Buddha. I believe that it was innate in Muhammad. I believe that it was innate in Moses. I believe that it was innate and easy for so many people that we refer to as the mystics and the prophets of this world. But we can be the mystics and the prophets of this world when we fully accept our divine identity. That's the message today. Even in the experience of seeming chaos or crisis, we have the capacity to let go of the desire to make that something in our lives. We are in charge. We are in control of our relationship to that thing. Now, we have been called upon this year to rethink our relationship to this entire world, to the circumstances of this world. Interesting that we have been called upon to rethink when we are in a philosophy called New Thought. We're in a philosophy called New Thought. What does that mean to us? It means that we are here to think a new thought about our relationship to the things in our lives. And yet many of us get caught up in trying to hold on to what was. I am done with trying to hold on to what was. What if this entire past year, because we're coming up on a year. Let's face it, in mid-March, it'll have been a year since we essentially stopped having in-person services, despite the little blip where we were able to bring a few people in October and then decided that, with the circumstances of the world, we were making a new decision. If we are holding on to what was or what we think it should look like moving forward and relate the what it should be to what it once was, then we are not actually evolving spiritually. We're keeping the status quo in place. That is not rooted in a new thought. That is saying, I must be as I've always been because that is how I have always been. I don't want to be there anymore. I'm here to evolve. What about you? So what if this entire past year was the perfect and right and loving, flowing expression of our conscious evolution? What if that is the way that we could look at this past year? Not look at all the hardship that we've endured because of the circumstances, but say, I see what has been and look where I am today. Find the blessings in the experience. And when we find the blessings in the experience, life just gets easier. And isn't that what I keep saying, that as we embody spiritual practice, the whole point and purpose of spiritual practice is to make life easier. In that passage from John, chapter 14, Jesus continues saying this, in my Father's house there are many rooms. In my Father's house there are many rooms. I believe a magnificent metaphysical interpretation of this is, there are as many thoughts as there are expressions of divinity. And there are infinite expressions of divinity, and so there are infinite thoughts. There are myriad thoughts, ideas, concepts. All of them are rooted in the divine and flowing forth and expressing from the divine. The Father's house is the infinite consciousness, and there are as many ideas within infinite consciousness as there are people to think them. If we believe that anything is not divine, then we are denying our own infinite nature, being God, source, creative energy, whatever you choose to call it. The minute we deny that is our identity, that is the place that allows us to move into the potential for things to fall apart. Because we are saying there is something other than. When we say there is something other than God, we're saying that something out there has dominion, or the potential or the possibility for dominion over my experience and expression of life. So what have we been holding on to? What have we been holding on to? I can tell you one thing that I've been holding on to is a reticence to accept that the form of this community has shifted. And I speak about a larger sense of community, although I do speak as well about the community that is Unity of Tucson. The way we interact has changed. Are we going to be resistant to that change, or are we going to say, you know what? This is what it is. for now. And there's always room for the pure evolution of God through this thing called Unity of Tucson to manifest and demonstrate itself in a new way. It has done so in a way that I think is the way we are choosing to be supportive of this community. Church has changed. And it's actually been going on longer than just 1 year, although I think it was magnified this past year. But church has been changing. The construct, the form, the way it shows up in the world of experience, church has been changing over the course of my entire experience of ministry. I am not the same minister I was when I began, and church is not the same as it was once I began, and it is not the same as it was when my mentor in ministry began. It is not the same as it was when Charles Fillmore began his ministry. It is not the same as it was when Jesus began his ministry. It's been going on forever. I am grateful, I will say, I am grateful that I am someone who launched my ministry from the get-go when I began ministry many years ago, that I began with an engagement in technology because it has served this community very well, I believe. I would like to think it has. No matter where I've been, live streaming has always been an important part of ministry for me because while this is our spiritual family, and it's funny because the energy of you, the energy of every single person who is out there watching, the energy of you is actually right in this moment contained within this room because we are all having a similar experience. And so the energy, which is infinite, is letting itself be known right here and right now. And so I share with you that love, I share with you that energy, and I'm grateful for it. Live streaming is who we are for now. It is who we are for now. And that is the answer to the title of my message today, which is, who is our we? Who is our we? The we has had to shift. The we has had to change. We are watching a global we change. It is reflected in the activities of this country. It is reflected actually in the activities of this entire world. We here in this community, this spiritual community, Unity of Tucson, we are for now a virtual community. That is who our we is. But it's only for now. We are a spiritual family. And you know what? That is who our we is always. Not just for now, but it has always been so, it is so now, and it always will be. We are spiritual family. Just because community, just because the way we engage in community looks different, doesn't mean that the form does not have value in service to our experience of life. Form is the construct of consciousness. And so the expression of community, this form, this expression of community is rooted in the collective consciousness. And so here's my question to you. How do you choose to be connected? How do you choose to be connected? Rather than resist this new construct, the result of a new thought, what if you allowed yourself to be in the flow? And say, this is what it is. And I welcome the experience and expression of this spiritual family in this new and different way. And in doing so, what if we lead with love in our hearts? If there is an openness to welcome change, we may find that community looks a little different now and will always look different in every incarnation moving forward, but it is still community nonetheless. I'm going to back up a little and say there is a larger part we, each and every one of us, play as well. If I reflect on the events of this past week, our thoughts about the events of this past week create a construct of experience that is either detrimental or advantageous, and you get to decide. I get to decide how I relate to what has been, and decide in this moment how I shall be moving forward. That is the great power that each and every one of us has as this infinite divine power. There are some thoughts I have on how we get to live in this new we experience. Let us first welcome the notion that, as the song says, no one is alone. No one is alone, none of us. You'll never walk alone. You cannot ever be alone. You cannot ever walk alone, because the infinite divine power and presence is fully expressed wherever you are. In understanding this, let us find ways in which each and every one of us can connect. And here's what I would encourage, that we look to connect with those who are inspired, that we look to connect with those who are motivated, that we look to connect with those who are open-minded, that we look to connect with those who are passionate, and that we look to connect with those who are grateful. These are the rooms that are available to us in consciousness. Inspiration, motivation, open-mindedness, passion, and gratitude. These rooms are available to us. Imagine a changed world. Imagine a changed world in the form, and then decide to be the catalyst for that change. It's up to each and every one of us. Who is our we? Our we shows up as whomever we decide for it to be. Namaste. As the band makes their way back up to the stage, I'm going to invite you to take this into your heart as the homework this week. Ask yourself this question in every interaction, in every activity this week. Does this move me toward or away from wholeness? Look at the ways you connect. Are they moving you toward or away from wholeness? Do they work? Is there anything in your life that doesn't work? These are the questions to resonate with this week. Now, is there something different that you would like to have happen in your life? Here's the next part of that. Activate that change, for you are in charge. This week, in light of the events that have happened, I wanted to offer this as our benediction.
Imagine there's no heaven. It's easy if you try. No hell below us. Above us, only sky. Imagine all the people living for today. Imagine there's no countries. It isn't hard to do. Nothing to kill or die for, and no religion too. Imagine all the people living life in peace. You may say I'm a dreamer, but I'm not the only one. I hope someday you'll join us, and the world will be as one. Imagine no possessions, wonder if you can. No need for greed or hunger, a brotherhood of man. Imagine all the people sharing all the world. You may say I'm a dreamer, but I'm not the only one. I hope someday you'll join us, and the world will live as one.
Thank you. I'm going to invite us all to step into a sense of gratitude. Gratitude being that engine, or the fuel in that creative engine. And serving this community is something that I am deeply grateful for every single day. And I am grateful to you for allowing me to be here and letting this be a connection that we get to make every single week. And throughout the week, if you're following the things that happen throughout the week, like our Wednesday evening meditation. Right now I'm doing a 40-day prosperity program on Facebook, so you can check out those videos every single morning at 7 a.m. I decided to do a live video at 7 a.m. every day. And it's working out really well, but I am not a morning person. So in the sense of gratitude, we're going to step into our offering. And I'm going to invite you to just allow yourself to resonate in your heart center with gratitude and give as you can to this community in service to our vision and our mission. There are many ways that you can give. You can give by utilizing the donate button on our website. You can also call the office during our regular office hours, Monday through Thursday, 9 a.m. to 5:30 p.m. Using a debit or credit card, you can give that to us over the phone. You can also send in a check through the mail or whatever, as I always say, whatever other delivery service you choose to use. Once again, I am deeply grateful for all the ways you support this community, and I will always be in gratitude to you. Let's read together the Divine Givingness Statement as an affirmation of our commitment to this vision and this mission. Divine love as me blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. I joyously contribute to my spiritual center, knowing that it goes forth to heal, prosper, and bless, and returns to me multiplied abundantly. I thankfully acknowledge God as my source.
I celebrate my abundance today. By giving this gift, I show my faith. As I open my heart, my world becomes a better place. I release all fear as I share gratefully. This love that I give always gives back to me. Knowing my oneness with everything else, I know that all that I give to myself. I celebrate my abundance today. By giving this gift, I show my faith. As I open my heart, my world becomes a better place. I release all fear as I share gratefully. This love that I give always gives back to me. Knowing my oneness with everything else, I know that all that I give to myself. Knowing my oneness with everything else, I know that all that I give to myself.
Oh, so a couple of things that are happening. Of course, we are going to have a virtual gathering today on Zoom at 11:30. The link for that is in the description of the video. It's also on our homepage at unitytucson.com in the event that you don't see the description of this video. You can always go to the homepage there at unitytucson.com, get the link, and join me at 11:30 this morning. For some conversation. It's always a lively conversation, and oftentimes what happens in that conversation lifts me up and inspires me to know what to talk about next week, although I have an idea about what I'm talking about next week too. A couple of things to know. There are options for deepening in your connecting in this community. We have some workshops and classes that are coming up. Check out the workshops and classes tab at unitytucson.com. Karen King is doing some work with the material of Joe Dispenza. Check that out. Super excited about that. Also, I'm leading a 16-week spiritual boot camp for the mind called Mental Muscle. It was a program developed by my mentor in ministry, James Mellon, and the sign-up was supposed to have ended tomorrow, but I'm going to extend it through the end of the week. So if you have not signed up for it and you would like to sign up for it, I encourage you to do that. You can sign up online or call the office and we can work out how that works out. Now, here's the thing about that. It is 16 weeks of focused work to evolve spiritually that nature within each and every one of us. And it's a great way to start your day on Mondays and Thursdays at 7. I say I'm not a morning person, but it is at 7:30 a.m. Mondays and Thursdays that we meet for 16 weeks. Great way to start your day and set the tone for how you're going to experience your day. So please do join me there. There are only 10 spots available because of the nature of the work. There is going to be a new member orientation that will unfold and happen on Zoom. That will happen next Sunday, the 17th of January. If you are interested in that, please send me an email at revjonathan@unitytucson.com. I will send you the link for that. If this is the community that resonates with your heart and you would like to be an official member of this community, join us for that. It'll happen after the service at around 11:30 a.m. Also, do save the date. Our annual meeting will be held on February 21st, 2021. And don't forget to tell all your friends that we are streaming on YouTube. We stream live Sundays on Facebook, and we stream live on our website now as well. Let all your friends know, because I think the more we can spread this message of love, this message of light, and the more that we let people know what it is we stand for in spirit, the more magnificent this world expression becomes. Speaking of magnificence, I want to say thank you to everybody who's made today possible. I want to say thank you to our technical crew, Wally, Don, Aiden, for your service here this morning and every single Sunday. Deeply grateful that you make this a reality from the technical perspective. I want to say thank you to Karen for being here, being present, lighting the candles, and holding the consciousness of this space as you do so beautifully all the time, and also for your many years of service on the board and as the president of the board of directors here. I am deeply grateful to you. I want to say thank you to this magnificent group of musicians, Linda, Joshua, Raphael. Always grateful for you and the fun we get to have every single week. I definitely want to say thank you to our guest today, Jody Darling. Oh, Jody, it is such a deep pleasure, and I hope you'll come back and join us again. Thank you. And I want to say thank you to each and every one of you for being present here with me. As we complete our time here today, let's share together the prayer for protection. The light of God surrounds me. I am that light. The love of God enfolds me. I am that love. The power of God protects me. I am that power. The presence of God watches over me. I am that presence. Wherever I am, God is. Wherever God is, I am. And so it is. Amen.
Well, it's an idea whose time has come. A new generation decides as one. Of the same small planet we are born. It's never been so obvious before. We breathe the same air, drink better, you and I. The future of history is crystal clear. The borders between us will disappear. Of the same small planet we are born, and there's no foreign country anymore. We breathe the same air, drink the same water, walk the same earth, kiss the same sky. We breathe the same air. I think we ought to get along better, you and I. Some say that I'm out of touch with the times, that this world is no place for a future like mine. Well, still I can see it, and still I believe it. There's too many lives on the line. There's so many lives on the line. We breathe the same air, drink the same water, walk the same earth, kiss the same sky. We breathe the same air. I think we ought to get along better, you and I. We breathe the same air, drink the same water, walk the same earth, kiss the same sky. We breathe the same air. I think we ought to get along better, you and I. We breathe the same air. Make it a magnificent week, everyone.